Hello and welcome to the Ourdadsstamps YouTube channel, where we talk about all things related to stamps and stamp collecting. My name's Pete West and I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe to get regular updates of new content. Well, hello again from Ourdadsstamps and welcome to another video. For today's video I thought I'd indulge myself a little and share with you some of the stamps I have for sale in my eBay shop. I also thought that at the same time I could run a little promotion and thank all the people that have watched my videos and followed me over the last few years. And so I intend to offer a 20% discount on all purchases from my eBay shop until the end of July. So if you keep watching this video, I will give more details and a discount code at some point during the video. So if we talk about the things I have for sale in my shop at the moment, there's currently around about 1,400 separate items for sale on eBay. And these range from single stamps costing 99p up to complete sets, pages and everything in between. It mainly covers British Commonwealth stamps, but there is a big selection of Spanish stamps and a few other countries as well. As I said, most of it is British Commonwealth, so if that's your area of interest, then I'm certain there'll be something there for you. If we start with the most expensive stamp I've got for sale, or stamps I should say, it's the 1913 Seahorse set from Great Britain. These were produced during the reign of King George V and were high values, 2 and 6, 5 shilling, 10 shilling and £1 values. I don't have the £1 values at all, but I have a good selection of the 2 and 6, 5 shilling and 10 shilling. I've currently got this set for sale for £175. Now, there were 3 different printers that printed this set: De La Rue, Waterloo and Bradbury Wilkinson. And there was also another re-engraved set produced in 1934. It's easy to tell the difference between the re-engraved set and the originals because the shading behind George V is cross-hatched on the 1934 set. But it's just straight lines on the earlier sets. It's also easy to tell the difference between the Bradbury Wilkinson and the other 2 sets of the earlier printings, because the Bradbury Wilkinson sets are just slightly smaller and it's easy to check with any decent ruler. However, the difference between De La Rue and Waterloo is quite tricky to find, and I've actually labelled these as both because I'm not 100% certain. I had them originally down as the Waterloo set, but the De La Rue set you can tell by the differences in the perforations, and specifically it has one wider perforation at the top than all the rest. Looking at this set again, it looks to me like the 5 shilling and 10 shilling could well be the De La Rue set. If they are, they're worth a lot more than the Waterloo set. However, the cheapest catalogue value of those 3 stamps is £950. and I have them for sale for £175. So I think that's a good deal. They are not perfect by any means, and if you look at the description you can see things that I've highlighted, but it is nevertheless a valuable stamp and one that could be an addition to your set. I also have some of the Bradbury Wilkinson sets. I have some of the re-engraved sets as well. So if you like the look of the Seahorse stamps, and they are very nice looking stamps, then take a look. Sticking with Great Britain for a minute, I've also got several complete sets, as well as possibly an unusual collection that doesn't get seen very often. And that is the Queen Victoria Threepenny Rose. This was the one printed in 1873. And it's every plate number from plate 11 up to plate 20. Now, it's easy to come across those stamps singly, but to come across the complete set is quite unusual. So I like to think that's quite a nice collection for somebody. And I've got it priced at £45. The actual catalogue value is £780. Now that does sound awfully cheap, but with British stamps, especially British Victorian stamps, the catalogue value and the price you pay for the stamps varies hugely. The catalogue value is for a perfect stamp with nice colouring, well centred and lightly cancelled. To find these stamps lightly cancelled is very difficult, and to find them heavily cancelled is very easy. So there's a big variation depending on how good your stamps are, how good a quality they are, as to what percentage of the catalogue value they're actually worth. As I said, I've got these for sale at £45. I think that's a fair price for these stamps. So again, you get every plate number from 11 to 20, so it's 10 stamps. They only work out at £4 each, which is a bargain. Other sets I've got for sale, the Edward VII Definitives. Now again, the Edward VII Definitives come in 3 different printings. There's the De La Rue set, Harrison's and Sons set, and also the set printed at Somerset House. They are distinguishable by various means, but for this particular set, I haven't distinguished which printings they are. They are just a basic set of every stamp from a halfpenny up to 1 shilling. So that's 15 stamps, and I've got them priced at £19.99. The value of the cheapest version of those stamps is round about £350. So again, it's a decent price in my view. Similarly, I've got the King George V Definitives. This is the 1912 set that has the Royal Cipher watermark, as opposed to the later set that's got the block cipher. One other nice set that I have from Great Britain is the King George VI High Value set. These were produced in 1939 and contain 2 different coloured 2 and 6 stamps, a 5 shilling, 2 different colour 10 shilling stamps, and a £1. This particular set all have nice cancellations and are fairly well centred, so I've priced them at £17.59. I know that sounds an odd amount. That's come about because at some point I've reduced it from the original price by a percentage, and that's what it's ended up at. Yeah, it's a nice looking set. I think they're really nice stamps and well worth looking at. If we move on to Gibraltar stamps now, this is where the second highest value stamp I have for sale is. And it's actually a block of stamps from 1982. Gibraltar ran a series of sets, Naval Crests. And this is in the first series. There's a 60p stamp with HMS Rook's crest on it. But this particular one has the watermark inverted, which is obviously quite a rarity. And also it's in a corner block of 6. So I imagine it's quite a rarity. I can't imagine there are too many blocks of 6 with the inverted watermark stamp on it. Individually, though, they're catalogued at £45. I am asking a lot for this. I've asked for £150. They are in perfect condition. They're mint. It's never been hinged. The margins are intact. All the perforations are intact. So I think that is rather a special stamp. And something that is well worth £150 in my view. I came across this particular block in a collection I bought of modern Gibraltar stamps, and it contained mostly mint. It was a huge collection, mostly mint, but there were lots of mini sheets, there were lots of blocks, there was a few half sheets, and it took me a long time to sort through this group. And I was just amazed to find that this one, in the middle of a set that had blocks of 6 of the complete set, but this particular one was the inverted watermark version. So I guess that the original owner had no idea, and it was one of those nice finds you get. As I said, I did buy a set that contained lots of mini sheets and blocks, and if you look through my Gibraltar stamps for sale, there's a lot of those available, as you can imagine. One of the nice ones is the 1971 new decimal currency designs. These were printed 2 different designs of the same value, so each value has 2 pictures on it, one a historic picture and one a modern picture of the same place. So it's quite a nice set. And I've got the complete set in blocks of 4. Again, never been hinged, and a really nice looking set. So I've priced that at £35, which is close to the catalogue value of the individual stamps. But obviously these are in blocks of 4, so they would be worth more. Other interesting stamp I've got for sale is in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. I've always been interested in their stamps for some reason or another. I guess it was one of the first stamps I received from my father when he was touring overseas in the Navy. But I've always liked this set, and some of the higher values are a bit more difficult to obtain. But I've got several of them for sale, and there are so many different varieties with that set. Different perforations, slightly different colours, redrawn versions. So there's a huge area to collect. But I've got the basics of a set up to 50 cents for sale at just £14, so it's quite cheap. But I also have several of the higher values and different versions of each of them as well. So you can find the shilling in a couple of different versions, the 2 shilling and 3 shilling as well in different versions for sale. And one of the 5 shillings, I have had the others as well, but those have already been sold on. However, have a look, there's some good options there if that's your area of interest. As many of you know, Malta is my main area of interest in stamps, and so naturally enough I have quite a few Maltese stamps for sale, although a lot of them have been sold already. There are, however, some blocks and sheets that are worth looking at. I've got several of the 1965 definitive halfpenny quarter sheets. There's a Victory set in blocks of 4, which is being cancelled with a nice circular date stamp right in the middle, and several sets from the 60s where they are mint and used in the same lot. I've put them together as one complete lot. Worth having a look. Next one I want to share is from Zanzibar. Now, Zanzibar's not a country I really know that much about, and I've not really had many stamps from it at all. I came across a first day cover from Zanzibar in the middle of a collection, which I think is quite interesting. And it's from 1944 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the Al Busaid dynasty. The reason I like this is you don't get many official first day covers from 1944. And this is in very good condition with clear date stamps on the front. It's hard to find a price for first day covers. I don't have a first day cover catalogue, so it's hard to put a price on this. I've actually selling it for £15, which is more than the used value of the stamps. But I think because it's a first day cover, because it's so old, it's got to be worth somewhere around that. Another interesting one, I have 2 stamps from the Suez Canal. Now these were in the middle of a collection I bought some time ago, and I don't believe they are genuine stamps. The Suez Canal only issued 1 or 2 sets of stamps, and this is the 20-cent blue. If they are genuine, they're catalogued at £75 mint and £550 used. But I've got them priced at £12 because I'm pretty certain they're forgeries. However, forgeries is an interesting area because some people like collecting forgeries, and sometimes forgeries are worth more than the real stamp. So I'm sure these will be of interest to somebody, and hopefully I've priced them at the right area to attract that interest. Talking of forgeries, I sold some stamps the other day, which about a few hours before the auction was due to end, somebody contacted me via eBay to say that one of the stamps was definitely a forgery. It was really too late for me to do anything. Bids had already been placed on the items. And once it had sold, I contacted the buyer and said, look, I've been led to believe this is a forgery. Do you still want to go ahead with the sale? And they came back to me and said, yeah, I really like forgeries. So I'm really interested in buying this lot. So sometimes forgeries can be worth looking at. And indeed, in my Malta collection, I have got a few forgeries, and I've deliberately bought them as forgeries because it's interesting. But you do have to be aware that they're forgeries and not pay stupid prices for it. Hopefully I reflect that in these Suez Canal stamps. I think now is probably a good time to talk about the offer I made at the beginning of this video. My idea was to just thank everyone that has, as I said, that has supported me and followed me through all these videos that I've been making. which is now, I'm approaching my 59th video. So I'm going to offer a 20% discount on any purchases from my shop. This will be valid up until the end of July 2023. And I need to put a limit on it, which will be a limit of £100 worth of stamps. So you get £20 discount. I think that's fair, just to cover myself. This isn't a legally binding offer. And if things happen that I need to withdraw it, I reserve the right to stop it. However, it is my way of saying thank you. So I'm going to put a code up on the screen. And if you want to take advantage of this offer, when you buy something from me from eBay, if before you pay for it, you send me a message via eBay, send me a message with this code, and I will then send you an invoice with the 20% deducted. This only applies to buy it now lots. It doesn't apply to auctions, because obviously that would be difficult to operate. It should be possible to put buy it now items into your shopping basket and then request an invoice. Occasionally, eBay decides not to allow this, and I can't find out why it doesn't happen and why there's a problem. If you encounter such a problem, then it seems the only way we could do it is that the buyer would have to pay full price and then I would refund the 20%. But if you do encounter this problem, drop me a line before you purchase it so that I know that's what you've done. And hopefully you can take advantage of some good stamps. Let me know how you feel about this offer, and hopefully it's going to work. As I said, 20% off all purchases. So if you buy 5 different items, as long as it doesn't come to a total of more than £100, you will get 20% of that price off. If it comes to more than £100, you will get £20 off. And thanks for watching and thanks for listening. That's what it's for. So back to the stamps. Just a few more before we finish off. As I said, I've got 1,400 items for sale on eBay. I can't possibly cover them all in a short video. So I've just tried to pick out a few highlights. And yes, I have tended to go for some of the more expensive things. But that's only natural in something like this, I think. If you haven't got that sort of money to spend, there are many of my items that are a sale for £1 or £2. So do have a look through. Just a couple of more things. There's a Hong Kong first day covers, and I have highlighted these in one of my previous videos. From about the year 2000, Hong Kong have produced the Chinese New Year stamps in special editions. Some of them are made out of silk paper, some of them have silver foil on them, some of them have gold foil on them. And in 2014, they did the Year of the Horse. And I've got a first day cover of the mini sheet that was done on silk covered paper. And I've got the first day cover of the horse stroke snake that was the previous year, done with gold-plated inlay. I really like these. These are duplicates that I picked up along the way, so that's the only reason I'm selling them. I'm building a collection of all of them because I just think they're really nice and unusual. Again, for the gold lattice one, the catalogue value for it used is £60, but I have no catalogue value for the first day cover. So I've priced it at $17.59. I think that's a good deal, so take a look. I've had a lot of Canadian stamps recently, and many of them are mint and in really nice condition. I have the 1927 Confederation set complete in very lightly mounted mint. If you're into South African stamps, I have several of the war effort set where they reduce the size of the stamps to save money on paper costs and printing costs. These stamps are fairly worthless sold singly, but I've got them in the original pairs or triplets, depending on which stamp it is. And I've got a set never hinged in the pairs for £21, which is possibly a bit high, but they are in really nice condition. And as I said, they've never been hinged, so it's well worth it. If that doesn't take your fancy, I have several of the part sets or individuals in pairs or in triples, used and mint, so take a look. And whilst we're in South Africa, I've also got several of the Voortrekker memorial sets from 1938, which are quite valuable, and I've got them for around about £20, £15-20, so worth a look. I've also got the same versions from Southwest Africa, so take a look at those. One last thing, I haven't mentioned anything from Spain, and I obviously have a lot of Spanish stamps, and it's something I've come into later in life, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in Spanish stamps. And just a few highlights. If you're into stamps about art, Spain did a series of art stamps, and each year they commemorated a particular artist and did a set of 8, 9 or 10 stamps featuring that artist's work. Now I've got loads of these. I picked up a huge collection of these. So I've put together a lot of 6 different sets that are never been hinged. And it's sort of £6, £6.50. So it's a nice lot of stamps you can get for very little money. I've also got lots of the sets sold individually as well. So again, if you're into the art world and like stamps with art on them, there is a lot of sets available there with the art collections. I've also got some of the older Spanish stamps, and probably the nicest one is an 1875 Alfonso stamp, which is catalogued at £170, and I've got that one on for £34. Finally, to do with Spain, the Provincial Costumes. Over several years they produced a set showing the traditional costumes from all the different provinces within Spain, and there were 53, I think, or 54 in the complete set, and they reduced them in different lots. So I have some of these series. I don't have the whole lot anymore. I used to have the whole collection, mint never hinged, and I sold several of those, but they've all gone. However, I do have like the first series or the second series, and they're not expensive. They look nice. It's £1.99, so it's not going to cost you a lot, but they're quite nice stamps. Okay, I think that just about covers it. As I said, I've got 1,400 stamps, so I cannot possibly go through the whole lot in a short video like this. But I hope this has given you a flavour, and please have a look at my eBay shop. I'll put a link for the shop in the notes below, and come and take advantage of the special offer. Thanks for listening, and see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I hope you found it interesting and enjoyable. Don't forget you can visit my online stores at eBay and Delcamp under the name of Ourdadsstamps, where I have over 2,000 items for sale. Please join us again in 2 weeks' time for another edition of Ourdadsstamps podcast.